Hey guys, I'm at the bus. Let's try to get this thing started. Let's go. Hey guys, well, before I try to start this thing today, I'd like to just add a little bit of oil to the cylinders and let them soak a little bit before we attempt to get it running. Use this here, Marvel Mist Oil. I've done this before. Just put a little bit of that in each one of the cylinders to the spark plug hole. I just shift a little dispenser and get it down here and just pull each one of these spark plugs out, which I started doing this, and these plugs actually look like they were new. I mean, they're not off the shelf new, but they haven't ran very long, if any at all. And I've already started adding some oil to each one of those, so I just give some in each one of those cylinders, and we'll just let that sit and soak probably for a day or two as I get the rest of these parts that I need. I did check the oil, and there is oil in here, so that's a good sign. I haven't tried rotating it or putting a battery on it or anything yet. I'm going to get a new battery cable there, a new cap and rotor. Here, let me show you. So this positive battery cable that goes to the firewall has just been chewed bare by a rat, so replace that. Of course, all the plug wires and cap and everything need to be replaced. All the plug wires have been chewed through by the rat, which has been back because there's more poop since the last time I cleaned this out. But I'll get a cap, rotor, condenser, points, maybe a new coil. This thing's looking pretty crusty. Battery cable, battery. Yeah, I'll let this thing soak. We'll check back in a couple days. And hey guys, well, no, it's been a few days, and back over here at the bus. I've been letting that Marvel Mist Oil soak in those cylinders. See if it'll rotate, and try to turn it over by hand. And well, I guess we'll go from there. Let's see here. That's the belt slipping. Well, it definitely appears to be stuck. Yeah, it's just the belt slipping. Alright, well, unfortunately, it does seem to be stuck. So, alright guys, well, since I wasn't able to turn it over by hand, I pulled out all the spark plugs, and I'm using a snap-on ratchet, and what is that? It's a 13/16 crank bolt. So let's put this on there and try to get it to turn with a little more leverage this time. Okay, I know this is going to be a little hard to see for you and I. let's see here. So what I'll do is I'll ever so lightly go back and forth, try to slowly work those rings free. Hopefully it's not too bad. Well guys, I'm trying pretty hard and it's not wanting to give. Okay. Well, what I might do next is if I can't get it to turn over at all, is pull those valve covers off and pour a little oil and PB Blaster down over the rocker assembly and see if that'll loosen it up. I might also pull that fan and belt and pulley and the hose and a few little things off, make a little room so I know it's going to put up a fight. I'm going to have to wrestle it. Okay guys, so I did take out the radiator and fan and pulleys and belts, kind of give me some room to work. So let's try this again. Yeah, I got a lot more room to work now. Let's see if I can get this to move. The crank bolt's moving, but the crank itself is not. It's not good. All right. It's not looking good, but I'm not giving up yet. All right. Well, I took the valve covers off. They fought me a little bit, and it is a bit rusty in there. This side's even a little worse. So I'm gonna spray these down with some PB Blaster and dump some oil across there, and hopefully we can still free this thing up. I suppose before I spray more PB Blaster and put some more oil in there, I'm going to vacuum that all out of there a little bit more. So let's do that. Okay, well, vacuumed it out a little bit. Just get some penetrating fluid in there. A little PB Blaster. Soak this down. There we go. Add a little more over here. Let's soak it. I'll pour this marble mist oil down all this too. Alright, well, we got her all soaked down with PB Blaster, and let's give this another try. I'm tightening that crank bolt. Apparently it was a little loose. Alright guys, still working on it. Starting to get a little worried that it's not going to break free, but keep going here. I can't believe this crank bolt is still spinning though. If I go the other way, it starts loosening, so I gotta get it to turn this way. Huh. I don't know. It's just spinning. Well, I see why it's spinning. The crank bolt, the crank's not turning. That big washer is broken. And as I turn it, it's just pressing it out. So I'm gonna have to pull that off and then go from there, figure out what I'm gonna do next. Well, it's definitely giving me a fight. I'm starting to have my doubts now. I'm not giving up. I put some more Marvel Mist Oil in all the cylinders. Poured a bunch down the rocker assembly and down the push rods and PB blaster, and I'll let it soak a little more, and I'll try to fix that crank bolt situation. I guess if I have to, I can climb underneath and pull the pressure plate cover off and get a little pry bar on the flywheel teeth. Well, that's why the crank bolt just kept turning. It split that giant washer and was pressing it out as I turned it. So I'm gonna have to get a new one of these to get in on there so I could try to turn it. Well, I'll be back with that, and I'll give it more time to soak. Okay, I'm back the next day. I got some washers to replace that broken crank bolt washer. They're not correct, but for just getting this to turn over, I should be able to make them work. So let's give that a try. Okay guys, well, I'm still not able to get the motor to rotate. I know it's in neutral. The clutch doesn't work, but it's in neutral. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to go underneath and remove the flywheel inspection cover and see what's going on in there. Yeah, from underneath I'll be able to remove that inspection cover and get a little pry bar on the flywheel teeth and kind of rotate it that way, hopefully. I also wanted to point out too that that rust that was on the valve train that I ended up having to vacuum off, that wasn't on the valves and rockers necessarily. That came from the valve covers when I was pounding them with the mallet to loosen them up to get them off. I knocked all that rust down on top of that rocker assembly. So I'm surprised the motor's not rotating. It's not that rusted inside. But I'll go underneath and we'll try it from there. Okay, well, here I am underneath the bus. What I'm looking at is the flywheel at the back of the motor and the clutch. And this is the inspection cover. And it is rotted through. And as I look in the clutch area, it is full of debris. I think it's the rat nest. Yeah, there's... So, I think that's my problem, why it's stuck. So I'm gonna have to pull that inspection cover off and try to get all this freed up in there. That's what I'm working on next, is getting that inspection cover off and cleaning out that clutch flywheel area. Alright, here's another look at that flywheel cover. Okay. Alright. working on this last bolt here. Oh my goodness. Well, looks like we're gonna need some penetrating fluid. Wonder if PB Blaster could solve this problem. Alright, well, I'm back under here. I don't know if you can see, but if I put this pry bar up here on the flywheel, I can rotate it. It's a little rough, but it's rotating. It's free. Alright guys, I'm back up top. And it is rotating. Look at that. Alright. Well, I'm going to consider that a small victory. We got it to rotate. I guess next I'm going to try to get the starter wired up and see if that thing still has any life in it. So let's try that next. Get a battery over here and hook that up. So let's go. Okay, so I got a battery hooked up in here. I'll set you guys up front and let's see what happens. Alright, on the count of 3, I'm going to try this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was not successful. Okay, it's kind of what I figured. Everything's so rusty. Grounds, everything else. I'm going to have to pull that starter off, I think. Pull the starter off and either rebuild it or find a replacement. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, well, like I was saying, I'm going to pull that starter off and either rebuild it or find a replacement. If any of you guys have ever worked on this motor or this kind of bus and have any information or tips or anything, advice, be sure to put that down in the comments. You know, I could use all the help I can get. But yeah, so I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna make this a 2-part video. Get that starter fixed and get all of those ignition parts that I need and plug wires and cap and what have you. And we'll be back to finish this and get this thing started up. So be sure to subscribe and like and comment and share with your friends. And no, I'm not giving up hope. I'm gonna get this thing to start. Hey guys, something I also wanted to point out is whenever I get a new project or car, I always get a Chilton's or Haynes or some kind of manual or book to kind of help me through it. And this time I ordered one through this company, midlifeclassiccars.com, and I was really impressed at how quick it showed up and the packaging and everything. So I'm not endorsed or promoted or anything by them, but I just wanted to point that out. 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot on the throttle. It came within just a couple days, really well packaged. So if you guys are looking for some manuals or books, check them out. See if they have what you're looking for. You know, they did an excellent job. Thanks, guys. So stay tuned and be watching for that part 2 where we fire this thing up.